Imagine a network so vast it connects the east to the west, not through the internet but through a tangible physical path. This is the Silk Road. The Silk Road, a name that conjures up images of caravans laden with precious goods, traversing vast deserts and towering mountain ranges. A network of trade routes that span thousands of miles, from the heart of China all the way to the Mediterranean Sea. But the Silk Road was more than just a route for commerce. It was a global superhighway, a conduit for culture, technology, and ideas. From around 200 years before Christ until the 15th century, the Silk Road was the world's most important connection between the East and West. It facilitated the exchange of goods, but more importantly, it enabled the flow of knowledge, religion, and art. The Silk Road was the epicenter of cultural and intellectual interchange, where philosophers, traders, monks, and explorers all converged. The Silk Road was like a giant sprawling web, with countless offshoots and branches connecting diverse civilizations. From the Romans in the west to the Chinese in the east, this sprawling network was the lifeblood of ancient commerce. But it was also a melting pot of cultures and ideas. Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam were just some of the religions that spread along the Silk Road, shaping societies and influencing cultures far from their origins. Just as the internet today has transformed our world, the Silk Road revolutionized the ancient world. It was not just a path for trade, it was the world's first information superhighway, a catalyst for cultural fusion, and a bridge between civilizations. Its impact can still be seen today in the shared heritage and interconnected histories of nations across Asia, Europe, and Africa. A story as intricate as the silk it's named after, the Silk Road remains one of the most fascinating aspects of human history. Our journey begins around the 2nd century BC, with the Han Dynasty of China. The rule of Emperor Wu marked a transformative period in Chinese history. This era saw the inception of a trade route that would shape the course of human civilization, the Silk Road. Now, Emperor Wu had a pressing issue on his hands. To the north of China, the Xiongnu, a confederation of nomadic tribes, posed a constant threat. The emperor knew that he needed allies to keep the Xiongnu at bay. So he turned his gaze westward, toward the Central Asian states. His plan was simple, yet ambitious. He sought to establish diplomatic relations with these states, proposing a united front against the Xiongnu. But how could he reach them across the vast and inhospitable expanse of the Asian continent? This was where the Silk Road came into play. The Silk Road was not a single road, but rather a network of trade routes, meandering through mountains, deserts, and plains. It connected China with Central Asia and eventually the Mediterranean Sea. The road got its name from the lucrative trade of Chinese silk carried out along its length. But the Silk Road was not just about silk, it was about so much more. It was about horses from Central Asia, spices from the Middle East, and precious stones from India. It was about goods, ideas, religions, and cultures, all flowing between East and West. Emperor Wu saw the Silk Road as a means to an end, a way to forge alliances against the Xiongnu. He could not have foreseen how this network of routes would evolve, how it would become a conduit for the exchange of goods and ideas on an unprecedented scale. The Silk Road was born out of necessity, but little did they know it would become a catalyst for cultural exchange. This is where our story truly begins, with the birth of a trade route that would change the world. So, buckle up as we embark on this incredible journey through time, exploring the history of the Silk Road. Fast forward to the Tang Dynasty, the golden age of the Silk Road. The Silk Road, a vast network of trade routes connecting the East and the West, flourished during this period, reaching from the edges of the Mediterranean all the way to the heart of China. The Tang Dynasty, spanning from the 7th to the 10th century, was a time of prosperity and cultural exchange. Trade was booming, and caravans laden with precious commodities were a common sight along the Silk Road. Silk, as the name suggests, was a major export from China, along with tea, porcelain, and paper. In return, China imported horses, grapes, and a myriad of other goods from the West. But the Silk Road was not just about tangible goods. It was also a conduit for the flow of culture, ideas, and beliefs. Buddhism, for instance, spread from India to China during the Tang Dynasty, carried by monks who traveled along the Silk Road. They established monasteries and translated scriptures, contributing to the growth and development of Buddhism in China. The Silk Road also facilitated the exchange of knowledge. The Tang Dynasty saw an influx of scientific, medical, and mathematical wisdom from the West, enriching Chinese society. Art and music, too, were shared and amalgamated, creating a unique blend of East and West that is still evident in the cultural landscape today. In this golden age, the Silk Road was more than just a path for traders. It was a melting pot of cultures, a bridge connecting different civilizations, and a testament to mankind's innate desire for exploration and understanding. So let's take a moment to appreciate the Silk Road not just as a trade route but as a symbol of human connection and cultural exchange. Because in the end, the Silk Road was more than just a trade route, it was a highway of ideas, beliefs, and culture. Now, enter the Mongols, the empire that would bring the Silk Road under a single, cohesive political environment. The Mongol Empire, under the formidable leadership of Genghis Khan and his successors, played a pivotal role in the history of the Silk Road. At the height of their power, the Mongols controlled a vast territory that spanned from Eastern Europe to East Asia, encompassing the majority of the Silk Road. This domination by a single entity brought about a unique period of stability and security along the Silk Road. The Mongols were, first and foremost, warriors. They valued strength and respected power. Their military prowess ensured that trade routes were safe from bandits and marauders, which had previously been a constant threat to merchants and travelers. The Mongols weren't just warriors, though. They were also shrewd administrators. They implemented a system of passports for merchants, allowing them to travel freely throughout the empire. They also established postal stations along the Silk Road, which served as rest stops for travelers and facilitated communication across the vast empire. Under the Mongol rule, trade along the Silk Road flourished. Goods, ideas, and cultures intermingled more freely than ever before. It was during this time that Marco Polo, the famous Venetian merchant, traveled the Silk Road and brought back tales of the East that would forever change the Western world's perception of the Orient. The Mongols also recognized the importance of protecting trade. They implemented measures to ensure the safety of merchants and their goods, including strict laws against theft and robbery. Moreover, they maintained and improved roads and bridges, further facilitating trade and travel. In many ways, the Mongol Empire was the catalyst that transformed the Silk Road from a mere trade route into a conduit for cultural exchange. The Silk Road under Mongol rule was not just about goods, it was about ideas, knowledge, and cultural exchange. It was a melting pot of civilizations, a testament to the power of trade and communication. The Mongol Empire brought a sense of unity and security to the Silk Road, further enhancing its role in global trade. But as with all great things, the Silk Road had its sunset. Picture this: a network of trade routes that had once been a vibrant artery of culture, commerce, and communication gradually began to lose its vibrancy. A variety of factors contributed to the decline of the Silk Road, a once bustling highway of exchange between the East and the West. Firstly, the fall of the Mongol Empire was a significant blow. The Mongols had been instrumental in maintaining the Silk Road's security and stability, which was essential for trade. When the empire crumbled, the Silk Road's safety was compromised, and traders found it increasingly difficult to journey across the vast expanse of Eurasia. The Mongols' decline marked the beginning of the end for this transcontinental route. In addition to this, the rise of maritime trade played a significant part in the Silk Road's decline. As seafaring technology advanced, sea routes became safer and more efficient. Maritime trade routes offered a cheaper and faster alternative to the overland Silk Road. Goods could be transported in large quantities by sea, and this shift in trade dynamics dealt a heavy blow to the Silk Road. Political instability was another nail in the coffin. The regions through which the Silk Road passed were fraught with political upheaval and conflict. Traders were often caught in the crossfire, making the journey along the Silk Road increasingly perilous. The once bustling trade route began to dwindle, and the grand caravans that once populated the Silk Road became a rare sight. The decline of the Silk Road was a gradual process that spanned several centuries. By the time the 15th century rolled around, the Silk Road had all but disappeared, replaced by sea routes and overshadowed by political chaos. The Silk Road may have faded, but its legacy was deeply embedded in the annals of history. Its influence continues to echo through the centuries, reminding us of a time when the East and the West were intimately connected through a web of trade routes known as the Silk Road. The Silk Road, while no longer traversed by camel caravans, lives on in our modern world. This ancient network of trade routes, stretching from the heart of the East to the Western world, has left an indelible mark on our history. Its legacy is woven into the very fabric of our global society, much like the intricate patterns of the silk it once transported. In the realm of commerce, the Silk Road pioneered the concept of international trade. While today's methods of exchange have significantly evolved, the fundamental principle remains the same. Goods, ideas, and cultures continue to flow across borders, fostering economic growth and prosperity worldwide. The Silk Road was also the catalyst for one of the earliest and most significant examples of cultural exchange. It was a conduit for the spread of religions, philosophies, arts, and languages. Today, in our interconnected world, these exchanges occur at an unprecedented scale. We see its echoes in the multicultural societies we live in, where diverse cultures coexist and enrich each other. Moreover, the Silk Road laid the groundwork for globalization. It connected remote and diverse civilizations, making the world a smaller place. Today we live in a global village, a concept that the Silk Road foreshadowed centuries ago. Furthermore, the Silk Road's legacy is reflected in modern diplomatic relations. It fostered a sense of interdependence among nations, which is a cornerstone of today's international diplomacy. It taught us that cooperation, not isolation, is the key to prosperity. In the realm of science, the Silk Road facilitated the exchange of knowledge and technology. This spirit of sharing and collaboration continues to drive scientific progress today. The Silk Road, an ancient network, continues to shape our world in profound ways. Its legacy is a testament to the power of connection, exchange, and cooperation. It reminds us that we are, and always have been, a world intertwined. Today, the spirit of the Silk Road lives on, in different forms. While the Silk Road of yore might have faded into the annals of history, its spirit is far from forgotten. Today, it thrives in a myriad of interpretations and recreations, all aimed at rekindling the spirit of this ancient trade route. Perhaps the most prominent among these is China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative. Envisioned as a network of roads, railways, and sea routes connecting Asia with Africa and Europe, it's a modern-day incarnation of the Silk Road. It's not just about silk and spices anymore, though. Now, it's about facilitating the flow of goods, services, and ideas, just like its predecessor did centuries ago. But it's not just about physical routes. The Silk Road has also found a home in the digital realm. The internet, often dubbed as the Silk Road of the 21st century, has become a bustling highway of information exchange. From sharing cultural insights to conducting global business, the digital Silk Road is as vibrant and diverse as the original pathway. Then there's the cultural Silk Road. Across the world, museums, art exhibitions, and cultural festivals pay homage to the Silk Road's rich heritage. They serve as platforms for cultural exchange, just as the Silk Road once did. It's a testament to the enduring legacy of this ancient trade route. But perhaps the most poignant manifestation of the Silk Road today is seen in the continuing exchange between East and West. Whether it's through trade, tourism, or cultural exchange, the spirit of the Silk Road lives on. It's a reminder that, despite our differences, we are all interconnected, and that our shared history can bring us closer together. In essence, the Silk Road has evolved. It's no longer a simple trade route, but a symbol of global connectivity and cultural exchange. It's a testament to our shared history, and a beacon for our shared future. The Silk Road may have changed in form, but its essence remains the same, a bridge between the East and the West. From its birth during the Han Dynasty to its modern interpretations, the Silk Road is a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. This ancient network of trade routes connecting East and West has left an indelible mark on our world. It was the birthplace of many of our earliest exchanges of goods, ideas, and cultures. The Silk Road was more than just a conduit for silk, spices, and precious metals. It was a melting pot of civilizations, a crossroads where cultures met, clashed, and assimilated. The golden age of the Silk Road during the Tang Dynasty was a time of unprecedented prosperity and cultural exchange. Knowledge, technology, religion, and art flowed along the Silk Road, creating a vibrant tapestry of interconnected societies. Then, the Mongol Empire rose, leaving an indelible impact on the Silk Road. Under the Mongols' rule, trade flourished, and the Silk Road experienced a renaissance. The Mongols' vast empire, stretching from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe, formed a unifying thread along the Silk Road, fostering an environment where commerce and culture could thrive. But like all great things, the Silk Road had its decline. With the rise of maritime trade routes and the collapse of the Mongol Empire, the Silk Road lost its prominence. Yet, its legacy lived on. The Silk Road had already woven a complex web of intercultural connections that continued to influence civilizations long after its decline. Today, the spirit of the Silk Road lives on in our globalized world. The Silk Road's legacy of cultural exchange and interconnectedness is more relevant than ever in our increasingly interconnected world. Thank you for joining us on this journey along the Silk Road. If you enjoyed this time trail, please subscribe for more. Produced and narrated by a team of passionate history enthusiasts, this journey through the Silk Road would not have been possible without the contributions of many. Our researchers tirelessly dug through countless texts and sources to bring you the most accurate and engaging story. Our writers painted a vivid picture of a time long past, and our editors polished each scene to perfection. The animation team breathed life into our script, creating a visual spectacle that transported us back in time. The sound engineers and musicians created an immersive auditory experience, setting the tone for our historical adventure. Our gratitude extends to our fact-checkers and proofreaders who ensured the integrity of this narrative. We also extend our appreciation to all the unnamed individuals who contributed their time and expertise to this project. Thank you for journeying with us through history. Until next time, keep your curiosity alive and your thirst for knowledge unquenched.